right, we're here today for episode 2 of Podcast by Devenee. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Ankur. How are you?
I am so excited. We got the first episode out, and we're getting ready for episode 2. How was the feedback from everyone?
It's been great. A lot of people are really interested and quite inspired. Just that a female's coming out in this industry talking about these kinds of things and really informing them on labels and what to expect and what they think that they read on Dr. Google and what might be true and what might not be true.
I got yelled at by Mama Garg. She was like, "Where was my hello?" So real quick, hi Mom.
Hi Mom.
Just want to make sure she knows she's getting love. So let's jump right into some important questions. I think the entire world needs to know, where is Devenee traveling to in the upcoming weeks, upcoming months? Where are you headed off to?
I am actually headed to Florida. I'm going to be spending some time on the coast.
Jealous.
I'm excited because it's been so rainy and gray. But I am going to spend some time in our vendor partner, GNC. So we've got a lot of really great stores, especially down in the Jupiter area. Some really, really good partners down in Florida. So I'm excited to go hang out with them for a while, do some super sales.
Super sales?
Yeah.
What's a super sale?
So a super sale inside GNC is when they take one day, they really focus on specific brands, and they have really, really great prices. Typically, you'll get 30 or 40% off on products. They have really great stack deals, and you can get a lot of items, a lot of hands-on education from their staff. And then when someone like me comes down there, you get that really personal touch about the brand, and they can learn a little bit more about the customers can learn more about your company and who's running it and really where that brand has evolved from.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they do samplings and everything, right?
Absolutely. Samplings. And what's really great is GNC carries 3 of our brands, not just About Time. So I get to focus on a wide demographic and multiple types of customers that come in. So exciting.
So we have this one character in the company. His name is Sean. And he swears that he only shops on Amazon now. He doesn't go to retail stores. I think he's a little addicted to shopping on Amazon, to be honest. But and we have this conversation all the time, and I want to hear your perspective on this. Obviously, Amazon has so many of these great benefits, 2-day prime shipping, all sorts of different choices, but retailers have strengths too. So, I mean, what are things that you think separate the retail experience from the online experience?
Well, we just touched on it slightly, right? So it's that in-store experience and sampling. You get to try products out. You really get some in-depth education on ingredients. You get to see, touch, and feel the label, ask questions about what is in this product, why is this here? You might even get an extra discount just by asking or stacking items together. But truly, in-store sampling. So you're not getting that on Amazon. Really, you're taking a chance. I hope this is what it is. I hope I'm not getting a fraudulent product, or you never really know what's going to show up at your doorstep.
So have retailers been complaining about this insane boom that's happening with e-commerce?
Well, they have their complaints, but a lot of them are really excited about being challenged and thinking out of the box. And when they have vendor partners who help support them in ways that we do, along with sampling and discounts and being proactive and stopping in the stores, that gives their customer, that extra edge on why they want to shop in those stores. Individuals, they still like to be taken care of. They like to be caressed a little, I should say.
Coddled,
maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Caressed, coddled.
Well, it depends on is this
on who
a male
is.
sales guy or a female sales guy?
And that's where my world really hangs out. Is I love customer service. I love that face interaction, and really being able to tell the customer all about the products, where we've started, why we create those products in the ways that we do, and how it helps them reach their goal set.
Okay, so on episode 1, we spoke a little bit about the new products that AT's coming out with. Yep. But I just think there's so many trends and things going on with package design, formulation, different products that are coming out from different brands. I mean, what do you think is kind of like the going trend here?
So the going trend, especially on from the end consumer level, they really want to know, where is your dairy coming from? Where's your whey protein coming from? Where do you source that?
Like where the cow was born and what kind of grass it was eating?
Amongst the questions,
the social security number?
Right. And, I guess one of the biggest things that the customer forgets is, when you milk the cow and you milk the cow next to that cow, there's going to be some differences.
Oh, so you're saying not all cows milk the same?
No, they don't all milk the same. So some give a little bit more, some give a little bit less. And, DNA plays a big part. It's just like us, right? Not everybody's super fit and muscular. Some will be, some won't be, and we're all different.
I mean, you think the cow has to be in shape to be, the ideal thing for a bodybuilder to get his whey protein from?
No. They
fat cows are just as good.
Fat cows are the ones that you want. Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Bessie
the
needs
pudgier,
love.
the better.
It doesn't matter what size she is. What about on package design? Have you noticed any changes? I know there's all these new restrictions. Mm-hmm. I know About Time just added a couple of new warnings to the label, and we try to be on the forefront of things. But let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So, transparency has really been the biggest push the last few years, and there's even more coming, within the next 3 years. So, we have, taken the steps of adding on a few different warnings that are on our new label. One of them being the Prop 65. Customers can read all about California.
I'm trying to figure out which camera to look at so I could give an eye roll at Prop 65. Man, right. Prop 65 is the worst.
It is the worst. And, so the consumer who doesn't know what Prop 65 is, it really makes them think I'm in the back at the blender scooping lead and cadmium into our formulas, and I'm really not,
Yeah, people need to understand cadmium is very expensive. We don't want to put that in the bottle. It would cause the price to go up by like $10.
Right, and lead's very heavy. And I mean, the shipping cost alone would be ridiculous.
I mean, Back to the Future, like they had to look for plutonium and all this stuff, right? It wasn't easy to find. I mean, powdered cadmium in a barrel in the back.
Right.
So
right.
why do we even have to put a Prop 65 label on a product? And let's talk about what the government agencies are trying to do essentially by making us change the look and feel of a Prop 65 warning.
Sure. So those are on the labels just to make customers aware, right? But what they're doing is they're not explaining very well in the very short phrase that's on the label, so that the consumer is very confused on what it is. So, in California, they wanted better drinking water, and so they developed Prop 65. However, the limitations are so low that they're unachievable, right? It's below the World Health Organization, the FDA, and every other, organization that's out there, being able to approve and give us great products.
You think a state with a drought would just take any water?
Well, True that, but, we're a manufacturing country, right? Lead blows in the air. So for all of these decades that we had steel mills and every other ounce of manufacturing in this country, lead blows around. Wherever it lands, that's where it's going to be. So those warnings are because there's lead and cadmium in soil. Cocoa bean is from the soil. Brussels sprouts are from the soil. Spinach is from the soil.
Yum.
Right? Cars are made with steel and they're manufactured. So when you go to California, when you buy a car, there's a Prop 65 warning label. When you buy chocolate, there's a label.
Wait, hold on. So even if you don't consume it, it'll still have a Prop 65 label?
It'll still have a Prop 65 label on it, yes.
So it's like if you consume this car, you may get cancer. Mm-hmm.
Right, absolutely.
So no licking of cars.
No licking of cars. Right. It's almost to the point where humans are going to be stamped with the Prop 65 label in California.
Can you imagine if you just went to a tattoo parlor and like, just give me this warning. Go ahead.
But yeah, so it's a little confusing, and I always tell my customers, just please call me. I'll gladly explain it. We have a great article that I wrote on we make supplements, on the Prop 65, so customers can get a little bit more education. But knowing that Brussels sprouts and spinach will have more lead and cadmium naturally in them than supplements ever will, is, it's exciting for me to tell customers, although I'm a veggie eating girl, it kind of puts the limelight of how much of a joke that this whole Prop 65 is. It's really, really just confusing.
Okay, what about supplement fax panels? I think in the past 2 years, I've seen a drastic font shift in calories, right? I think it could be like size 9 font, and now it has to be like size 24 font.
Right. So with that, they're really trying to educate the consumer to understand how to read a label. And with that, it's great, right? Because everyone acts like, oh, there's 300 calories in this, and they're missing the size 4 font that says there's 7 servings in here when it's really 2,100 calories, and they're consuming the whole thing.
Right, because when you get a bag of gummy bears and it's like 6 servings, you're going to eat the whole bag. You're not just going to have like 4 of them.
You're not going to, right. And so serving size is, sometimes on those endless calories, they're so small, and you're just going to eat the whole thing. It's really why we're all gaining so much weight, and they're really trying to put a stop to the obesity in America, when it just takes a little bit of control on each person to be responsible to read what you have. So they're trying to make the font size stand out a little bit more to make customers aware of exactly what they're consuming. And then with the labels, there's more transparency that's coming down the pike. So, what customers want to see is exactly what's in a product. No blends, no premixes, no proprietary blends. When you say you have a proprietary blend, you have no idea. Is this a sprinkle of this, a whole lot of that? Does it make a difference if I take it or not? They really just want that explanation of what is in their product.
Okay, good to know. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about, there's a ton of new brands, right? I walk back here in the warehouse, and I'm in awe of the number of brands that are launching every single month.
Yes.
How does a brand like ABOUTTIME and how does Devenee Schumacher kind of compete with all these new brands? Every one of them has a different marketing edge. Whether one's claiming that I have this brand new grass-fed goat milk in my protein, or someone's saying I got gold flakes and it's salmon protein, or one of these random marketing edges. Like, how does ABOUTTIME compete?
Sure. I have 3 rules. It's quality, consistency, and service. So, right? Quality, consistency, and service. And that's what I sell. I sell quality products. I'm consistently selling quality products, and I'm consistently servicing my customers, to the best of my ability. And, it shows a lot, right? Because these brands, they do pop up. And a lot of times, on our CM side, we're making a lot of those brands. And, you have to know what you're doing. This isn't just for fun. People just aren't going to sway over to your brand. You need to be unique. You need to give your customer and your demographic what they're looking for.
So you're saying if I say that we now have unicorn dust in my protein, it doesn't mean that someone's going to switch brands?
Well, I mean, if it's unicorn dust, you might get a following for 5 minutes.
Hey, 5 minutes of followers could be a big deal in this day and age.
But customers, they when it comes to supplements, right? And so ABOUTTIME is primarily a female demographic, and most females, they're using proteins and the items that we're selling, maybe once a day or once every other day. It's not like a super hardcore demographic that's supplements 3-4 times a day, that kind of thing. So they're looking for products that are going to taste great. They're looking for products to be the same every single time that they use them. No crazy changes. They want to be able to read the label and know that if they give this to their kids aren't going to grow a third arm, and that they're not going to grow hair on their face. So the greatest part of it is my brand is very, very simple. There's 5 ingredients in the products. They're all spelled out on the label. You can buy all of them in the grocery store and make it if you wanted to on your own. And, it's got a great taste, and it's friendly to the consumer. So, kind of hit all of that, and the customer's satisfied. And then if they ever did have a problem or a question, they get me. Right? They get to call, and they physically get to talk to me in handling any of their questions or concerns. And I think that's great, because a lot of companies, they don't answer the phone, or they have those automated customer service lines, which are horrible, and you're screaming agent over and over until you're frustrated.
I just keep hitting 0 until I get a person. So what's that number to call if they have a question about time?
Sure. It is 866-982-9439.
And what if they're within the country and because we want to save the 25 cents a minute?
Sure. It's 412-275-3351, extension 208.
That's right. It costs us 25 cents a minute when you dial the 866 number. So, the 412 number all the way.
Yeah. So save those costs. Use the 412 number because we can then take those costs and put them back in other great products.
All right. So let's talk about a very interesting topic. Mm-hmm. What are some things that we wish people actually knew about supplements?
Oh, goodness. This is a great question.
And just to remind you, we are rolling and we're on camera. Let's make sure we're aware of that. But,
Sure. So, yeah, absolutely. So my top number one thing is labels, right? Labels are not FDA approved. They're created by companies and individuals, and they're reviewed after the fact.
Yeah, let's clarify that. So you're saying that when a brand creates the label and prints it from a label printer, there's no one actually reviewing that label from the FDA.
No,
obviously,
there's not.
Brands have the onus of making sure that the label is honest, and manufacturers have the choice of applying that label to something or not.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then the consumer has the ability to either call the company and verify what is on their product and ask for third-party information or testing because that's available to them, or they don't, and they can just take the company's word on what is on that label.
So if someone calls About Time, you're going to answer and they're going to be like, I want to know if this is actually gluten-free. And you're just going to shoot them an email with a certificate. Absolutely.
So we third-party test for all of our specifications and label claims, and we do that for every batch. So when customers want to know, is what is in this, is it gluten-free? I'm able to send them that test. And then I walk them through that test because it's based off 100-gram serving. It's not based off the serving size that's on their label. So I walk the customer through that. Or if they want to know, the protein or the fat content. And then there's some customers who have health issues and questions come up, and they ask me questions, honestly, that I'm stumped on a little bit. And then I get that testing done for them. I've had, probably this past year, 3 or 4, off the wall questions that our quality team and I worked on some third-party testing to get those answers, just to provide that information to the customer.
Why do you think consumers don't know that they could just call the brand and ask them questions about what's on the label?
Well, because most people don't discuss it. They don't talk about it, right? They're not out there saying, hey, give me a call. Either that or they're not getting that hands-on connection with the brand when you're walking into a brick and mortar store. If you keep just going to Amazon and buying, you're really losing, all that education and the ability to understand, that either the store owner would give or just simply turning the bottle around and saying, hey, I want to give these guys a call.
Well, let's talk about that aspect, right? So do you think Amazon or the retailer is taking the responsibility of checking what, these labels are claiming before they put it on the shelves?
Some do and some don't, right? So it just really depends on how big that company is and what their standards are. We work with quite a few that any products that they bring into their store, it goes through their quality control team before it can get accepted into their systems. And then we have a handful of companies where the individual owners, they do talk with me quite a bit. They ask questions. They're very educated on raw materials. And they bring me suggestions at times for new products. And we have really, really great banter. And then there's some people who just buy products and sell them.
I could only wonder what this banter is like with these store owners. So the safest way to know that the product is actually stating the truth on its label is to just call the brand up.
Right.
And just ask for proof.
They just ask for proof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you think a consumer?
Yeah,
you just wish that they knew.
Absolutely. So expiration dates. Let's talk about expiration dates on products. So legally, you have to either put a manufacturing date on a bottle or an expiration date. A manufacturing date is the date that your product was manufactured. An expiration date is typically, a date that we say this product is good until this time and can be recontrolled at that time. So when you have protein powders and it has an expiration date, say a January of 2022, and you have a bottle and it's February of 2022, and you're like, this is expired, I can't have this. That's not true. Proteins typically, don't go bad or spoil, just because of an expiration date. A lot of times if it doesn't smell horrible and doesn't have a different taste and chain or different quality to it or taste, the product is still good to use. There's a lot of raw materials out there, things like glutamine and branched chain amino acids. Those items typically have a 3-year shelf life or at that point they can be recontrolled. So we send products out if we ever needed to. You can retest those products. You send them out to a third party. You make sure that the activity of that product on its benefits is still at the same level as when you purchase that product, and it can still be used. There's really nothing wrong with products, when they expire, if there's no change in that product.
Okay, so I guess what we're saying is that it's important to understand the difference between manufactured date and best if used by date.
Yes.
Right? Because best if used doesn't necessarily mean that it can't be used afterwards. It's just probably the efficacy is what you're claiming up until that date.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And how do manufacturers determine an expiration date? I mean, is there like a room that can go to the future and see what happens to that product, or like what happens?
So, sometimes there is some aging testing that can be done. We typically use the best by date that is based on the main ingredient in that product of all the products. So like the whey protein, for example, the date is taken directly off that whey protein. So, and then it's just transferred over to the actual product.
Got it. Okay. Anything else?
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about dosages. Dosages on the label. Because a lot of things come up when it comes in there. Is what is the serving size? How much of this am I supposed to take? I'm pregnant. Is this good for me to take when I'm pregnant? And lots of questions, right? So what I want everyone to know and to keep in mind is they're unique. Each person is different, and their body reacts to supplements and foods and medicines and all the things out there differently. So if you have something in your health and medical life or a change like becoming pregnant, like those are significant changes. Your body goes through a lot of hormone changing and a lot of different things at that point in time. So when they call customer or companies and they say, hey, I'm pregnant, can I take this? They open up a big can of worms, and it's not just an easy yes or no question, because we don't know your medical history. We don't know anything about you. And then when you do go through something, your body completely changes. So it's always great to make sure your medical professional, no matter who it is, doctor, holistic doctor, they know what you're taking. And if you're taking something new, it's always good to bring that label in. So just call the company or bring the product to your doctor and just have them review it just to make sure there's nothing in there. A lot of times, like organic and holistic type medicines, natural herbs and things do interact with regular medications if you were to have something. Yeah. So it could be a scary world for someone, but literally that's why we always say, really talk to your doctor about what you're taking.
I used to run the customer service department for the brands that I've been involved in too. So I remember hearing these ridiculous stories where someone would call and be like, my doctor said that this product is going to kill me. I can't take this product. And I'm like, did they tell you why? Like, what was it they said was in this product that, you can't have? And they're like, you have caffeine in here, and there's just no way I'm allowed to put this much caffeine in my body.
Right.
I mean, do you feel like doctors are giving fair assessments to these people?
Well, I think sometimes people aren't always as open with their doctor and letting them know what they do and their lifestyle. I think, people are usually reserved, and their life is their life. But I think doctors sometimes, don't take in effect exactly what those products are. They're going by the book and just sticking to the book from 1960. So,
okay.
So I don't think it's always a fair assessment, but that's when I come back to each individual is unique, and an assessment is to that person. So
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that if one doctor gives you like a really negative response, you're always welcome to get a second opinion from someone else.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And you should also find out what kind of doctor it is that you're talking to, right? Like,
sure.
If you're speaking to, the eye doctor, he's not going to be able to tell you what's going on with your nutrition. But, it just kind of is what it is in that world.
Yep.
All right. So last topic, and we're going to end episode 2. So I know that About Time has this massive influencer program, and time after time, people always ask me, when you're putting together an influencer program, like, why should someone join it? Yeah. So, why do you think people, should align themselves with a brand?
Other than working with me, I don't know. Well, you tell me, Ankur. What are the expectations of our ambassador
we're gonna turn this one back
program?
On me.
Yeah.
Well, I think influencers want to get credibility, right? And by aligning themselves with different brands, is showing that a brand believes in them and their messaging and what they're doing. Because for damn well that there's not a scenario where a brand is going to get behind a person, right? And that person is promoting all sorts of craziness out there in the world, right? Most brands are doing their due diligence on someone before they sign them on. And I think brands just offer a different level of support than doing things on your own, right? I speak to personal trainers all across the country, and there's personal trainers out there that are giving all this nutrition advice, and they're literally sending someone down the street to the GNC or the Vitamin Shop or to the Nutri Shop or any one of these stores all across the country, and they're not making $1 off this advice that they're giving. And I think when you align yourself with the brand, you have an opportunity to make some commissions. You have an opportunity to gain a little bit more credibility. And I think it goes back to what you said, right? Quality, consistency, and service. And brands offer that. And by being with a brand, you're able to be consistent with what you're saying. I think it's the worst when a micro-influencer is with one brand one week, and then the next week they're with a different brand.
And they keep jumping.
And they just keep jumping. How's anyone going to believe them?
They're not. I think, years ago when influencers started, they were looking to partner with a brand, and they used it, because they were loyal to that brand. And then a couple years later, it became all about money and who was being paid to represent, and all of this craziness. It also hit the food world big too, right? The food influencers and that world. That world was really, really crazy for a moment. And now it's back to, people who just represent the brand, as you say. And, what brands really are looking for is just people who are loyal to the products that they use. And consumers want to see that. Consumers don't want to see you jumping from brand to brand to brand, because you're sitting back and they just, they're wondering like where your heart is. Do you truly love this brand that you convinced me to buy and now I love? But yet you're going here and you're going there and you're going there. It's where does your loyalty lie? And with About Time, like what I love about our affiliate program and ambassadors is you can be anyone. You can have 100 followers and you could have 1 million followers. It's really not about that for me and for the people who use our products. I love that, our influencers truly do use About Time. They love About Time. They love the taste. They love that it's affordable. They love that it's natural. They love that it's consistent, and it fits in their lifestyle. I have so many people that started out as teenagers and young college age kids, and now they're, getting married, and now they're having kids, and they're working our products into their children's lives.
Oh, wow.
And it's been like amazing over a 10-year period to see that. Like one of my favorite pictures the other day, last week, it was Valentine's Day, and my one influencer, Tiffany, she's been with us for almost 10 years, and her son, so his Valentine's Day gift was cinnamon pancakes and a cute little box of candy. And, it was just, adorable.
He gave that to his mom?
No, she gave that to him.
Okay.
Yeah, she gave that to him. And, and it's just like, I love that. I love that our products are just so clean and so great that it doesn't matter if it's your child or your grandmother. We fit everyone and anyone in between. And, we really, with our ambassadors, they're able to service anyone who's in their network and demographic, with our products.
All right, guys, take care. Bye.
See ya.